So, all right. So I'm going to go through real quickly the challenge that I've been having with the threaded rods. I have two bearing blocks here. One has been altered, one is not. But I'll show the unaltered one first on the two different, we'll call them the two different thicknesses of rod that I actually received. One of them, this is the Z. It was pre-cut, so I got these from the kit with the CNC router parts by. But this one works basically like Brian's video, right, where you know the rod moves quite nicely through it. This shaft, however, does not have the same behavior. So these rods are just large enough that you could whack these things on here, but your mileage will vary, and that's what I ended up doing on one side over here, which I think I'm going to end up disassembling and fixing now, because what I was able to do was to take a Dremel tool and just run inside the inner ring just ever so slight for maybe 10 or 15 seconds, and I was able to just clearance it enough so that it fits on and behaves exactly like the other one on the thicker rod. So for my build, what I've established is that there are really two rods, or kind of two threaded rods in the build that are affected, which will be my X and one side of my Y. So I'm going to go ahead and process 4 bearing blocks to be like this, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that now. So I'll grab a good one, come over to my trusty vise, and then it's nothing fancy. It's just it's probably an 80 grit, an 80 or 100 grit drum wheel on a Dremel, and we will hop in, see what happens. So you could see the race, there's a little bit of spark, but you could see the race, or the ring spinning as it went through. And so, we'll see. This one's probably, it's probably about halfway there, I'm guessing. So we'll go back and we'll take it and we'll do just a little bit more. So I try to be fairly light. I also try not to spin the bearing too much. Probably about 2,000 RPM. Maybe a little faster than that. This one's a little bit more, but so just kind of working up to it. There we go. So goes on nicely. Behaves. These shafts aren't particularly lubricated anymore, but the behavior on this one is basically the same as it is on the unaltered bearings on the let's call it the good shaft. So solution doesn't require me to go back and procure more threaded rod a handful of days before Christmas, which I'm a huge fan of. And I don't think that really we're doing any damage to the actual bearings themselves. The one thing I did do to just kind of be clever about it is that since I only need 4 of them, it's also marking these to indicate that I've actually modified them. So I'll be able to tell them from the other ones. So if anybody else gets caught with this, hopefully that helps. The bit, or the kind of the drum I use, I believe it's just it's a quarter-inch drum. Very easy to find and to run on any Dremel. So there you go.